Morning, everybody.
Morning.
As I said, I'm FK Waweru, a pensioner for the last of CPF for the last 18 years. I want to confirm here. If you don't know the danger of a pensioner, after 60 years, you're almost finished. I have heard there are so many people here representing the government. And I want to say, and you note, when you reach 60, you are going down, down, down. Can you go and advise the ministry to start for you young people what we call post-medical insurance? So that when I retire, like the way I retired 18 years ago, I have a card to attend in a hospital. This is the elephant in the room. You get what I mean? Yes. You are just saying aging. Why are people aging? They are aging because of the low income. Instead of the government giving people over 70 2,000 shillings, which I found the other day, it was converted by an economist. It's no longer 2,000, it is about 1,450. Are we together? So, let us start with those who are working, create, as I say, post-medical insurance. We have so many problems in the hospitals. My friend, I had been a victim, raising money for my brother's son, 2 million shillings. He has no pension. At least my small pension, I can take a loan and be able maybe to pay a bill of 200,000. So you check that one. Social services. That kifungo sa 57, haki ni hiyo ya upewe good medical services so that you can live longer and you continue paying taxes. Thank you very much. Hapa hakuna mtu hana mtoto, so mchunge watoto wenu. Hata nyinyi mko, you are still young. I'm 75 years old. Na siwezi kuuza ploti ati kwa maana nilipe bilu Kenyatta. Nitasema wacha nilale na wale wataachwa waendelee. Asanteni sana.
Most of the times we've held these meetings in various hotels, and so we are also trying to shift, and work with other institutions. And one of those institutions are the churches, where older persons are actually key leaders in those institutions. So we will keep on adjusting, we'll keep on changing as we move on and as we move into the future to make the monthly discussion forums on aging a success. Just a gentle reminder is that this is a regular forum that we host with the Sukun and ACF, and I always make this appeal in my remarks that if you ever want to host the MDFA, please do reach out to us through our secretariat, and we will give you an opportunity to host these forums.
Allow me just to say that we acknowledge the invaluable contribution of older persons organizations to continue to make this, that the older persons are continuing to make in championing the welfare, rights, and inclusion of older persons across different counties. Now that we have over 16, I think I've counted over 16 organizations represented here. So thank you very much for turning up, coming in for this discussion today. It's very key, very instrumental. We want to voyage forward, but we don't want to walk alone. We want us to walk together and be able to see that the rights of older persons are actually actualized. We want to ensure that our working together, is a joint force.
How many people are there at KISE? At the Kenya Institute of Special Education. After that conference, we sat down as older persons organizations and said, this is a very, very good event. Can we think of doing something bigger, especially around the International Day of Older Persons? So that is the day when the seed was planted. So CPF Group Foundation and Sukun and ACF and many of us here, we had subsequent meetings and we are thinking, how can we do something very, very big? Again, we had a convening early this year, which was convened by Sukun, and the older persons organizations say that holding an International Day for Older Persons celebration is a great idea. And then we had, as we were discussing together with the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, we also got wind that the Ministry of Health was also thinking of a similar idea. So we had a meeting with them, with the Ministry of Health, and a seed that which was smaller, just like in the parable of the sower, it got good ground and it has started growing. So the general objective of this conference, the one which is coming up, will be to promote a coordinated national and county action. And I'll also be trying to translate into Kiswahili. Kujaribu kuwezesha kazi at national government and also at county. The specific objectives, one is public awareness about the challenges of aging and especially for older persons, the issue of coordination, promoting coordination between different partners, acknowledging the contribution of older persons. For a very, very long time, wazee ama watu wakubwa huwa wanachukuliwa tu kama ni people who are needy, people who need to be supported. And yet, in our country, most of the land is held by older persons, isn't it? Most of our farmers, what is the average age of farmers in Kenya? Yeah, the average age of farmers in Kenya is 60 and above. And most of the landowners are older persons. So they are productive people. And then also to look at evidence and innovation of the best practices which exist, and also looking at the gaps which are there and the opportunities for geriatric care. And finally, to promote meaningful participation of older persons, not only in this particular conference, but in governance, policy, and development. So for this particular conference, there'll be 4 pillars. The first pillar will be touching on the rights of older persons, and the focus is to promote visibility, protection, and policy, rights of older persons. And under that, so in this particular session, I'll come to you at random, so be attentive. So that tuko wazee hapa pamoja, lakini unakuwa attentive. Don't try to sawaza kutatemeka. So we'll be addressing the issue of ageism, elder abuse, representation, kuhakikisha kwamba media imekuwa hapo, strategy review and evidence, discrimination, ubaguzi just because of age. Either ni mtoto ama ni mtu mkubwa. Lakini mara nyingi inakuwa kwa sababu ya umri. Wale watu umeenda pale wanasema huyu bazu ama huyu hebu songa kidogo, times yako zimeisha, and yet you have a right to be, isn't it? Wanaitwa nini? Wazee. Ama some of the names which are used to inafanya ageism kama nini? Bazu. Another one? Mbuyu. Another one? Mzae. Another one? Mkongwe. We'll also be discussing about age-friendly environments. We'll be looking at spaces, technology, and inclusion, and age-friendly environment, both in the rural as well as in the urban areas. We'll be talking about issue of climate resilience, because when we're talking about climate, si wazee wanakuwa affected sana, isn't it? Na kuna either it is flooding, either kuna drought na kadhalika. Tunaongea about digital inclusion, and then economic security. So under that pillar 2, we'll be talking about age-friendly environments. We go to pillar 3. Pillar 3, and we're very happy we are going to be discussing this more because of our colleagues from the Ministry of Health. We'll be talking about long-term care. Na hapa tutaongea juu ya mahitaji ya wazee, especially for long-term needs. And thank you, FK. You talked about post-retirement medical insurance. Because as you grow older, medical needs increase ama inapunguza? Inaongezeka. We'll be talking about financing. What can we do for long-term financing. Then we'll also be talking about public health preparedness for an aging population. Right now, the percentage of older persons, those people who are over 60, near about 3%. 6%. 3 million. That is what percentage of the total population? Yeah. And the number in the next 15 years, the percentage of older persons who are over 60 and the number of children over 6 will almost be the same. And in our system, we've placed a lot of focus on children, women, youth, etc. But have we prepared ourselves for the growing older population? We'll be discussing about that. And then on the fourth one, we'll be talking about moving from informal support to structured, dignified care. So at the end of the conference, which after we have done it in December, some of the outputs we expect will include the Nairobi action package. We hope to come up with an action plan of what we intend to do kama wazee, vijana. Hii conference haitakuwa tu ya wazee peke yake. Kutakuwa pia na vijana watakuwa hapo, wasomi, madaktari na kadhalika. We'll put all that into like an action plan. And then we are also hoping that by bringing in and by Ministry of Health and Ministry of Labor taking the lead, and also hoping that we'll have a high-level guest to grace this occasion, we'll have some political statement or direction which will really give uzito kwa yale yote ambayo tutakuwa tumekubaliana nayo. There will be policy briefs as well as innovations.
Hapa tunasikia kuko na watu wengi sana wa serikali. Mkiwa kwa hizi serikali muhakikishe ya kwamba wameambiwa kuhusu nini? Post care, post retirement care policy, medical policy. Si ndio? So the MDFA, the Monthly Discussion Forum, is a platform where we enhance or we empower dialogues, conversations, discussions. And just out of such a remark, something can be done. When you talk about long-term care, when you talk about SHA, the challenges that we experience with SHA, these are the things. And I love, there was one of the planning meetings tulikuwa, and we were arguing, why is it being called a scientific conference? It sounds to be very scientific. Na watu wa social, saa zingine tunapoteleanga wapi? Hapo. But another person countered and said, that is why we are trying to bring what we see on the ground to the scientific what? Platform. So that we can have more solutions. We have a rich panel. You have had the committees ambazo tumeelezewa kuhusu. Tuko na Kusudi Cause, who are the communications and also leading the organization of the entire thing. So we will be having their thoughts and a speaker on that. We have Dr. Lydia Tambo. She's a medical doctor and also very passionate about geriatric care. And also she's leading the scientific committee. We'll be hearing from her. We have Penina Ndonye, who is leading the county and community activations.
Okay, my name is Nancy Wagasha, Wells of Hope Center. Congratulations, Maurice. That's a very, very important presentation. And when I looked at it, I realized this is what other governments are doing, and this is what the ecosystem of the partners want, the collaboration of all of you. There's only a few things I picked up, and I thought I need to address them. The issue of disability. You may want to bring someone in the disability sector, because I have also been in the disability sector, and I know one of the things, they also get so much funding because of working like this. So if you would have a KISE, or National Council of People with Disability, and whatever, the aspect of resource mobilization, because that's where I think that's my committee. Let's work with Sense International, you know, those organizations, because they have funding. And in this particular forum, let them come with like booths. So we need people to come up with the proposal, because I feel like you've done a comprehensive work. You need now to put that disability, because I know disability sector have funding. And there's a component of disability and aging. UN says 46% of aged people have a form of disability. So you need an ecosystem of UN, UNDP, bring them in this discussion, because I feel this is what, recently I had done something to Titus, and I feel that Titus has done an amazing work. What we need is to support him. In future, do it like 10 months earlier. Corporates do their budgets 1 year earlier. So I know there are corporates like Equity who would want to support, and anyway, it's okay to approach them now, but this particular conference would have gotten a very good resource mobilization. There are corporates who are doing amazing work in aging. Last Friday, I had a meeting of people who are doing education, retirement, pension, and all that. So you will do a proposal for them. I'll share how to go about it. We will trust God within the 3 months. Some of them might listen, and if it's a journey, then it is okay, because there's also the aspect of election and timing. But I feel you've done an amazing work, and keep it up. So already I've given myself the committee I want to be, and we can work together. Be blessed.
Thank you very much. I want to say, since I joined this space 7 years ago, the ministry is aware. HelpAge International is aware when they were in Kenya, HelpAge Kenya. And those opos who I work with, I kept on talking about a national conference for older persons. And I think with this, we have arrived. A huge congratulations.
Okay, thank you. I really like the discussions and whatever is going on, but I would really want to make a bit of maybe just education or awareness, especially on the side of post-retirement. I know we would all wish to have that, and let's also be very cognizant of how long it takes the government to implement some of the policies, taking in mind like the journey we have taken since we started converging here. But in the meantime, you know what's happening is that we are still getting old as we are waiting for policies. So we have a responsibility also to start doing something, taking an action wherever you are, awaiting the policy. Yeah. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because I know in the maybe private sector, through the retirement benefit policy, authority, there's a lot of milestone that has been made, that even the post-retirement medical fund has been established. We have lobbied, there are even incentives that if you're making a contribution of, you get a tax relief of up to 15,000 from your pay slip if you are contributing to a post-retirement medical fund. Okay? So let us not also remain blind or not aware of what is happening in the other side, and we are not taking action. The other thing is, because if we wait for everything to be done by the government, tutazeka tukiria ukweli, okay? So we will not stop advocating, but we also have to do what we can do on our part. Also in the insurance space, there is also a tax incentive. If you are making a contribution or you are working on a product that is for post-retirement, you can get up to 5,000 relief from your pay. We also need to know how to manage our taxes, because we can use such rebates to help us to manage our life later in retirement. We always say aging is a continuous process. So as you said, the decisions that you make when you are younger will also affect you in your old age, okay? So it is good for us to be aware. I'm not saying we stop advocating, but while we are advocating, what is the personal journey that you have taken towards ensuring that you have something that can come in for you. Secondly, let's also not ignore the small things that are there, like the SHA. Many people will say it is not working, and I'm not here to say that it is perfectly working, but are you first of all in the scheme, so that you are arguing from a point of, I was not given access. To be honest, I have seen SHA come through when I have had to deal with matters of hospitalization of my parents.
You know, we used to say, insurance covers are discriminatory. Once you get to 60 years, by the time you try to get that, you're given like a 1 year, 2 year waiting period. Like there are some processes that are actually quite discriminatory. But I love the way that you're saying there is some progress being done. How can we be aware of that? And also then also looking at the informal sector, unfortunately, over 80% of even the aging population right now were not in formal employment, meaning they never got a pension. So what happens for such cohort, for such a group? What is in existence for them? Recently, we were planning to support some cataract surgeries for a few older persons. And I called Sha, and Sha told me how we decide the amount to be given is based on an assessment that we conduct on a person. So even the amount is not standard, it's based on an assessment. If it was not for that call I made, I would not have known. My question would be, do you cover or not? You know? But perhaps there is an assessment, there is a process that happens. And maybe you think you have registered to share, but you've not really been onboarded. So I think this is a good, something we are picking up for our discussions and all.
I know that we have people from Ministry of Health, and I think Jane is also on that line. Mental health, I think, needs coverage, a wide coverage. And I'm thinking of, there's Aga Khan University has been conducting an international research on dementia. And they have doing it on the for Africans, because they say most of what we have is from the Western. So they want to find out how is dementia and the progress and everything on. Maybe they can also be brought on board to share their findings and how those findings can help us in this aging process.
We are gearing towards a general election, and I think what is missing is where is the place of older persons in terms of governance. I think it is something we need to start discussing as we move towards 2027 general elections. There are specific challenges that older persons face during electoral processes. So I think it will be a good topic for discussion during the UN International Day for Older Persons, where we can bring elections experts. We bring IBC. How do we ensure there is a full and uninterrupted participation of older persons? Another thing I think we can also think about is we need to come up maybe with something like a legal aid clinic. We know that issues legal are very expensive, and during such forum is when we can offer free legal advices to older persons. So I think we can work with institutions like NGC, maybe the Attorney General's office, the Department of Justice, so that we offer free legal advices to older persons. But I really need us to think about the role of older persons in terms of governance, and especially on civic participation.
As health department, we really have a good vision for older persons. One, we want to make sure that you have that good health as you are getting to add in your years. One of the things that we are so much keen is about the care. Starting from the health department, health facilities, that we are desiring to take care of you. You get the proper medications that you desire to have. Do that assessment that we can be able to understand what condition do you suffer as a elderly person, and how can we come in as health department so that you can be able to get the correct medication. You can be able to get even the doctors who can even make sure that you are taken care. You are also getting the right medication. Also connecting you back with the family people, because the family system is very important. As a elderly person, you require someone who can also be supporting you. Even when you want to go to the hospital, you want someone from the family who can be able to support you even to get that medication, and even to go back home and make sure that you take the medication. Looking also at the nutrition part, because as an elderly person, you are supposed also to have that balanced diet. You have to get food, enough food, so that you can be able even to have good health. That when we are talking about health hygiene, we are not only talking about the social aspect peke yake. We are looking at the diet, the social life, even looking at your mental health. Because mimi nilianza na kusema kwamba I'm a psychologist, I'm a clinical psychologist. And when I was practicing at the health facilities, I realized that elderly people face a lot of challenges, and especially even having psychological abuse. Someone has said about how can we prevent abuse from other persons. And one thing I was doing when I was in the facility, because I happened to be a coordinator for gender-based violence, I was so much keen when I realized that a mother has been raped by a person from the family or a neighbor. I could make sure that the justice is taken for that person. I could even direct the police to look at that person. I could connect the society leaders, the community leaders, to make sure that this person, when she comes, she go back to the society, there is someone who is taking care. And I used to fall so much. By the way, one of the county that I was working, they know that I was really following for other persons. I don't know, the vision started earlier before I joined the ministry, but I can assure you, I personally, I always support the elderly people to live in a safe space, a place whereby they can have someone to support. So as a ministry, we are really working out for mental health services. And in these committees that we have a representative from the Division of Mental Health who will be speaking more about the mental health services for elderly people. We will have someone coming from Nutrition Division who will be also speaking more about the nutrition, the kind of diet that you need as an elderly person. We also have someone from HIV prevention who will be also speaking, because we are also supporting elderly people from that docket, taking care of elderly people who are living with HIV, disability, the same. And also, we are still also working together with the social development officers, the social protection, who are also working out in your jamii and all that. And I know Julie will also maybe say something as we continue, akipata nafasi concerning that, because that is something that is happening in our societies across the counties. I know we have a lot to discuss, but I have just stand to assure you that as a Minister of Health, we are really looking forward to support you as a elderly people, because you are part of us, you are parents, and we are also looking those blessings that we can get from you. Thank you so much.
I want to say that I'm very grateful for having this particular opportunity to be here. And I'm also happy that you have brought the Ministry of Health, which is very instrumental in what we are doing today, because when you talk about older persons and you don't bring the health component into it, you are not doing justice to that particular activity. So next time, you also bring SHA. At the time they came to our meeting and they promised mountains, are you here again? Because the truth of the matter is that SHA, somebody defended it very strongly here, that it really works. I went to an hospital at Job Group S in government, and I was told that it has capped at 4,000. Which means that you cannot even see a doctor, which means that you cannot even move to the next step, which means you cannot even go for doing a test in a lab. As much as you work in government, you have to say reality. That is my weakness. I say things the way they are. You go to an hospital, you're a government employee, and you are told that we wanted to treat you, but having seen your form, and you know I'm supposed to be having what you call comprehensive cover. Then I'm told it is capped at 4,000, which means that after seeing the doctor, you cannot move the next step. This is why we need SHA here. And this is a hard cold fact, and we say the way they are. So they've been here to defend themselves here, because the older persons need justice, and justice must be done to them. So we don't want to say facts the way they are not. We say them the way they are. So next time, SHA needs to be, and any other person that deals with older persons, we need to have what we call a multi-sectoral approach to all these things, so that the older person issues are addressed in the way they're supposed to be addressed, so that we have something that cuts across everything and the older persons get justice as is required.
My name is Mario Noma, Dr. Mario Noma. I work as a researcher. And I'd said earlier, I used to work at Helpage for many years. And we were part of the group that then started, when Inua Jamii was starting in 2004, 2005, as a pilot project, we were there. We wrote the policy for social protection. Together with Kimani Maruge, if you remember, the Kimani Maruge went to Treasury and so on, and I think I even know some of the older persons. I started working with older persons at Lavington United Church when we had a project for older persons, and so I have kept there. I do research on social policy matters, and I was actually interested also, there's somebody who talked about aging, poverty, and so on, and that's the area that I work in. And what we are finding is most people are actually, if I was to use the word, we are hustling to death, yeah, without medical cover, any medical provision. And now in the age of financialization, the age that we are in, operating in, older persons and many people are being drawn into debt to take care of their everyday life, yeah? And I think those are issues that we need to bring out to the open, the issues of SHA that are not working sometimes for older persons. I think as a social policy researcher, these are things that I research on. And I'm very excited about the scientific conference that's coming up. And I'll also share the word with people and colleagues that we may have many academicians and people who do research on various issues coming to present. Thank you, sir. I am currently a research fellow with the University of South Africa, but I'm based in Kenya.
Yeah, it's a great honor to be here. I was not meant to be here, but he asked me to be here in as much as I'm on leave. So, well done to the organizers of this conference. From time to time, we get to participate in the planning meetings, and I can confirm that it's quite a hectic process, but we know that being the first conference that we are planning for, once 4th October comes, then all of us will be able to appreciate the effort and the diligence that has been able to go into it. And as you have been requested here, I want to believe, McKenna, you will ask each one to maybe indicate the subcommittee name and phone number. That way, then you'll be able to just absorb them accordingly. Otherwise, if you leave it open, the meeting will end and you don't have the quorum, because we need technical input from each and everyone, because the planning is quite heavy. So thank you very much, Dr. Ochieng.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to join you today as we reflect on a matter that is central to our collective efforts to promote the dignity, rights, and well-being of older persons in Kenya through strengthening the engagement capacity of older persons organizations as we prepare for the commemoration of the International Day of Older Persons 2026. Allow me to begin by acknowledging the invaluable contribution of older persons organizations which continue to make, as they continue to make and champion the rights, welfare, and inclusion of the older persons across the country. Through commitment, leadership, and advocacy, you have become trusted voices in ensuring the concerns and the positions of the older persons are heard and addressed. Upon all of us to strengthen collaboration across sectors and it is to create an environment where every older person can age with dignity, independence, good health, and security. As the Department of Senior Citizens Affairs, we firmly believe that older persons organizations are indispensable partners in achieving this vision. No one understands the realities, priorities, and lived experiences of older persons better than older persons themselves. For this reason, your meaningful contribution must remain at the center of the planning, implementation, and evolution of programs affecting your lives. As we prepare for IDOP 2026, we are intentionally strengthening the role of OPUS in the planning and implementation of the process. We envision organizations that are well coordinated, informed, representative, and actively engaged in policy dialogue, advocacy, community mobilization, and public awareness. We therefore encourage older persons organizations to 1. Mobilize older persons to actively participate in IDOP activities at both county and national levels. Champion healthy aging and older persons' rights within the communities. Promote intergenerational solidarity by creating opportunities for dialogue and mutual learning between older persons and younger generations. 3. Document and share success stories that demonstrate contribution of older persons to families, communities, and national development. And lastly, to strengthen partnership with county governments, civil society, development partners, faith-based organizations, and the private sector to expand support for older persons. Ladies and gentlemen, strong organizations require strong leadership and institutional capacity. The department remains committed to supporting OPUS through continuous stakeholder engagement, capacity strengthening, improved coordination, and enhanced participation in policy programs and development. We will continue working closely with the county governments and partners to create enabling environments where OPUS can effectively contribute to national development and community well-being. The success of OPUS 2026 will depend on our collective efforts. Government alone cannot achieve these aspirations of healthy aging. It requires collaboration among older persons, families, communities, county governments, development partners, the academia, civil society, the private sector, and the media. Let us therefore work together to ensure that IDOP 2026 becomes more than a commemorative event. Let it be a catalyst for sustained action, stronger partnerships, and renewed commitment to advancing healthy aging and protecting the rights of the older persons across Kenya. In conclusion, I wish to reaffirm the commitment of the State Department of Social Protection and Senior Citizens Affairs to continue working with the older persons organizations in building a society where every older person lives with dignity, participates fully in community life, and enjoys equal opportunities to contribute to national development. Together, let us strengthen our organizations, amplify the voices of older persons, and make IDOP 26 a truly inclusive and impactful festival commemoration. Thank you, and I wish you fruitful deliberations. God bless you all. God bless Kenya.